Good afternoon. There are different elements of learning and living Torah. There's the strict learning of Torah, the limud Torah. Then there is the realm of halacha, of how we live our lives. And then there's the hashkafa, the outlook and the perspective on the world through the lens of the Torah. Many ascribe to the approach that the best recognition and teaching of hashkafa, of the Torah's outlook, is by means of understanding the halacha. That through understanding what halacha is teaching us, we can get what the Torah is trying to convey to us. And I think one prime example of that is when we talk about the Birchot, Hashachar, the morning blessings that we make. The Gemara in Brachos on Daf 60b, Samach Amud Beis, teaches that each one of the Birchos Hashachar really is meant to be recited as we perform different tasks. So as we heard the crow of the rooster, was initially meant to recite Hanosen Lasach Vivina. When one would get dressed, they would recite Malbi, Sharumim, and so forth and so on. That according to the actions, they would recite the bracha, which the Mishnah Berurah explains was because these are birchos hanehenim, these are brachas that we're making over benefiting from this world. And just like I can't eat an apple without making a ha'et, so I can't benefit from this world without making a bracha, so too I cannot perform any act or receive any benefit of that which I wear or of how I proceed throughout my day without acknowledging and making that bracha of the birchos hanehenim, of the birchos hashachar. However, the Shulchan Aruch explains that in today's day and age, due to a number of factors, the fact that we're not as cautious with Tuma and Tahara, our hands aren't necessarily as clean as maybe once they were in that realm. And additionally, perhaps people aren't as familiar or cognizant of these brachos. And therefore, the minhag has become to wait until we arrive at shul and to arrive them at the beginning and to say all these brachos in order at the beginning of davening. And that is certainly what is the common practice and what is the accepted halacha and the way that we go about it. But nonetheless, as I mentioned at the beginning, I think the understanding of the ideal form or what these brachos are accomplishing gives us a satisfaction and a perspective on what the Torah is conveying to us as we live our lives. That every step of the way, there is a bracha that we can make. That everything that we do, that we get benefit from this world, if we recognize where it comes from, if we recognize that it is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it is God conveying His good to us, that we are benefiting from His world, will be so much more in line with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with bringing God into every single element of our lives. Psychology is now coming out and understanding this attitude of gratitude, this idea that if we recognize the good in our lives, the positive psychology, that it will lead us to increased satisfaction, less anxiety, depression, etc., etc. But the Torah understood this for many, many years already. Already from the times of Chazal, the Torah was teaching us that for every element that we do, everything we do in our lives, not only that which we eat, but any benefit we get, whether it's at that moment or whether it's we combine them as we get to shul, but every step of the way has a bracha to go along with it, to recognize that Hashem is with us every step of the way, and that everything we do in our lives is being granted a tova, a good thing from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that if we appreciate and we understand, our lives will be much happier and also much more filled with holiness. Have a great day.